Hey guys, this is NoZakuBoy and welcome to this video. Today we're going to make the base for the Fujiwara Tofu Shop diorama. The first step is to mark out all the sidewalks, road and driveway on the foam base. After it's marked out, I take my hobby knife and start to cut away from the foam where the road will be. Unfortunately I don't have a hot wire cutter, otherwise this process would be a lot easier. We also need to cut away the driveway ramp so it transitions to the road. Then we just need to sand the foam to smooth out the roughness of the knife cuts. Using cork for the road surface, we first mark it out and then cut it to size. To make the transition from the road to the driveway, I also fit a piece of cork and chamfer the edge for a smooth transition. Using super tack glue, I stick the pieces in place and then place heavy objects on top so the cork doesn't lift while it dries. Using plaster of Paris, we need to cover the driveway, ramp and sidewalk, trying to get it as smooth as we can, being careful to avoid getting it onto the road surface. Once the plaster is dried, we give it a good sand with 120 grit sandpaper to smooth out all the ridges from the plaster. The next step is to mark out all the different slabs of concrete. So first I start by marking out the building and then I can move on to all the other lines. With the lines marked out, using the steel rule and the back edge of a hobby knife, we can score the plaster to create all the joints. Because the plaster's been set on foam, we can use our thumb and fingers to create cracks to the concrete. Using some artist acrylics, I mix up a dark grey for the road and apply it with a foam brush. I then create a lighter grey for the concrete and apply it in the same way. Using a foam brush and just plain water, we can soak up the excess paint and then we allow it to dry. Once dry, I use a sponge and model paint to add a contrast to the concrete. After the lighter grey, we repeat with a darker grey. Before it's had time to fully dry, using a clean sponge we can blend all the paint together. The road surface gets a darker grey rubbed in with the sponge. I then black out where the building will sit, as I don't want the lighter grey to show through the windows. Using an old brush, I load it up with some brown acrylic paint. I then take the airbrush and blow air over the tip to create a splatter effect, trying not to go too overboard. Taking another old brush, I roughly paint over the road with black acrylic. Taking the original light grey, I also clean up any mistakes and add some highlights to the gutters. After I'm happy with the results, I airbrush a gloss clear coat and allow that to dry. Now onto some weathering. Using MIG's engine grime, I give a good coat to the concrete, paying attention to all the cracks in the joint lines. Once it has been covered, using enamel thinners and a sponge we can wipe away most of it, leaving streaks and a more worn appearance. Now applying some pigments along the joints and cracks, and then using a sponge, I blend that into the concrete. To give the road some more depth, I cover it in a black wash. Then using one of the dirty sponges from the previous pigments and paints, we blend this into the road surface. This helps give the road a more worn look. I also added a white stripe to the road using a masking tape and then just an airbrush. Although one recommendation I have is to use cork long enough, as I was unable to hide the joint line in the road, but overall I'm happy with the results. I hope you enjoyed this video and it's given you some ideas on achieving this effect. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned, as I hope to produce some more videos on how I do my works. This has been No Zaku Boy. Till next time.